There's a public charter school in Lake Wales where children with special needs overcome daily challenges and enjoy success in learning and living. All the details on this unique learning organization are coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Jeremy Morady, and with me in the studio today is Ellen Draper, first and second grade teacher at our Children's Academy over in Lake Wales, and also with Stephen Whitaker, also with our Children's Academy in Lake Wales. Welcome, guys.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
And you also brought a special guest with us today who is kind of chilling down on the carpet here, if you want to introduce him.
Sure. This is Dublin. He's a 7-year-old black lab, and he's the facility dog at our Children's Academy, which means he comes to school every single day.
Oh, I'm sure he's getting I'm sure he's getting a little bit of rest now. So.
It's Friday.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the program you guys have over at the school and where it's come from, where it's going, and a little bit of everything in between.
I'll give you actually, why don't you, Ellen is, this year's our teacher of the year, but actually, I'm gonna go ahead and call her this now, but we'll say the teacher of the decade. And why I say that, I don't know, but why I say that is because Ellen has been in our school from the existence, this will be our 10th year in existence. And she was one of the original teachers, and here we are now, 10 years later, she's still at the school. So I'll let her kind of start and talk about where it started, and then I'll continue on. So.
Sure. So we started in Lake Wales. Public charter school was formed because there's a need in our community for kids with special needs to get educational services and also therapy services. We started in a small building. We had 2 classrooms. We had a pre-K classroom, and then we had a kindergarten through 2nd grade classroom. We started with 18 children and I believe 5 staff members, and then a secretary who answered our phones and did other things for us. The goal was we provide an educational setting, and also we have therapists, physical, occupational, and speech therapists that come into our classrooms and provide therapy to the children. Instead of the therapists pulling the kids out of the classroom into, a little room and they just worked on those skills in isolation, they work on those skills in a more natural setting in the classroom.
So in their environment, things that they're comfortable with.
Absolutely, and also so they're comfortable in that setting. It's also a more natural setting so that children who maybe if they're working on articulating specific sounds, if they can do it in that little class, in the little office with a therapist, that doesn't mean it's going to transfer to their daily lives. But if they learn how to do it with their peers, then we can model that for them all day long. It also helps the teachers and the other staff working with them learn how to teach physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. So that's the big idea of our school, is to combine an educational with a medical model.
Okay. So now you guys have come through. This is going to be your 10th year now, and I know you guys have had quite a few accomplishments along the way. Can you tell us a little bit about how things have kind of come along in those years?
Definitely. We serve children. We started in the Lake Wales area because there's such a great need in the Lake Wales area, but since then we've kind of branched out kind of quickly to serve from Polk City all the way to we have parents that'll drive from Highlands County, Avon, Parker, Sebring, to Frostproof and get a ride on the bus. So I think what we've been able to expand and touch on multiple levels has been just phenomenal. We've grown from the 18 students, now 235 students total, pre-K through 9th. Next year we'll be adding 10th through 12th grade. We just redid our charter for another 10 years. So we're excited to have that. Now that we've been here so long, we have a group of kids who have stayed with us, and they're ready for those high school years, and we're just so excited that those kids will be able to continue their services on until they graduate from us, because that was so important. Our goal is to mainstream students. If we can reach those students early on, which we try to hit with our early learning center, which is your pre-K years in kindergarten, We try to mainstream those students into their zone traditional schools, but if those students aren't able to and they're best fit at our school, those students will continue to move up the pyramid, so to speak, until we get to the top, which are we're looking to have just a couple high school units, because once again, the success of our school is how many students start with us or come to us for a purpose, whether it's speech, whether it's physical therapy, occupational. We also have behavior therapy services we offer at the school as well. And then when the student is able to successfully complete our program and mainstream back, that is our biggest success story. So even though we won't have huge numbers in your middle and high school, that's fine. We're not. That's
kind of your aim, actually.
Correct.
So.
That is our program, is to try to target those students early on.
Well, now, when you guys started with those 18 at the beginning, what did that population look like? I know when folks say special needs, that is a wide range of differences in personalities and things that you're trying to help them cope with and educate them in that environment. Can you get into a little bit of that?
Sure. So the idea behind our school is the public school system does a great job with your milder disabilities, with the kids with learning disabilities, with the kids who have Asperger's, the kids who maybe need a little, just a little extra help. They do a fabulous job with the majority of those kids. The kids who have more significant medical needs, they just have a struggle. The public school system is required to follow educational standards. We started with one particular little girl who had shaken baby syndrome. Her retina detached. She was blind. She had significant brain damage because of the shaken baby syndrome. She couldn't really move. She didn't have a lot of purposeful movement. What is the public school system going to do for children like that? She needed therapy every day, 5 days a week. She needed 3 different kinds of therapy 5 days a week. The public school system is not set up to provide things like that for children. So our school filled a need. The public school system, they do their best, but they're just not set up for that. As a charter school, we can be set up for that. That's how we can meld the educational and the medical models to save those parents the heartache of, do I take my kid out of school to take them to speech therapy on Monday, occupational therapy on Tuesday, physical therapy on Wednesday? They still need 4 more days of speech therapy.
Sure.
They still have doctor's appointments to go to, and neurologists and audiologists and all those specialists. We can do all of that at our school. Originally, our children were, we had the little girl with shaken baby, some children with cerebral palsy, some children, a lot of kids with autism and Asperger's, some kids with some kind of mild language impairments. Our preschool program is specifically designed to provide early intervention, and then just like Steve said, get them out, into the traditional schools, because those are their typical.
Pick them up a little bit and move them on.
Absolutely. Our pre-K program is pretty competitive with the private pre-K programs. We're teaching kids their letters, their numbers, their colors, their socialization. We can also provide the specialists to give them, that little boost in speech or occupational therapy to get them ready for kindergarten and let them go to school with the kids in their neighborhood.
Okay. Well, now that 18 students has now grown to the 200 plus?
235 with a waiting list.
235 with a waiting list. So word has obviously gotten out that there is a need, and you guys are catering to that. You guys are also planning on expanding and getting into the right now you're the pre-K through 9th grade, and you're expanding in the 10th to 12th grade. So how has that changed? What is going to go on with that for those kids at the later levels?
Well, that's a good question. And the great thing is, as we've evolved, I'd say, over the years, this program too is evolving with us. We kind of first wanted to offer the place, the familiarity, the people, the programs to our parents of those students to ensure that we had those grades available, and understanding that really our big focus was making sure our students gained as much independence as possible, whether that's through employability skills, whatever it is. Those students, those parents, our goal to have for those parents is when they leave us is to gain as much independence. So that's kind of where we kind of started with our program. But we're working great with Polk County Schools to make sure that we're working with all the people in the different areas to make sure we're following what we need to follow statewide as well. But really right now, one of the programs we're kind of kicking off and aren't there yet, but almost, we have a farm to table program. But the culminating event through it as the students start early on with the just getting to understand the garden and then the planting, and then we have the farmer's market, but getting to the point where we're soon going to have a food bus, so a food truck, but a school bus converted to a food bus, so we call it the food bus. So we're in talks now, and we've had GiveWell Foundation, which has sponsored one of the grants that we did to give us kind of a jump start, and we're doing some other things with that, but that's kind of going to be one of our ways that we can bring those students, bring them out into the community, bring them really to other schools. Teachers only have about 25 to 30 minutes to eat during the day. So if we can take that bus, you know, and rotate through some of the schools in the Lake Wales area and close by, we can, you know, give those kids all the skills that they need. Because even our students who cannot communicate and who are nonverbal, they can still be food prep, and they can learn hospitality, and cash register, you know, how to work, fold a napkin. So our goal is to ensure that what we do is equip our students with the best independent skills possible. I think that is really what our goal is at the upper levels.
When we started with our pre-K through second grade, as our kids got older, we applied to the district to increase our grades. Our little guys that started as, I think they were 4, that they'll be in high school. So our goal was to keep up with our kids so that there would always be a place for them, you know, so that they could have their
you don't want them to age out.
You don't want them to age out. We, as an educator, you worry about what about next year? What about when they get to 6th grade? And we're like, well, we have to go to 6th grade. And now it's, gosh, they're going to high school. We have to have high school classes for them, because the vision is they're going to be independent, participating citizens in their community, and we want to prepare them for that. So that's been our goal all along, is how the long-term vision, when they come to us as 4-year-olds, and we know, you know, that they're probably going to stay with us. They may not be a mainstream candidate, but where are they going to be when they're 18 or 19 or 20, and what can we help prepare them? How can we prepare them for life and for independent as they can be living?
Well, it's amazing, you know, what education now, and identifying the early intervention and how much that can help, especially as, you know, they grow up through those later years. You guys have a tool down here.
Having good dreams.
Yes, it seems like it. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys use him in the school?
Absolutely. So he was donated to us as a puppy, and truthfully we weren't sure if it was going to work out, because a facility dog has to have a really specific skill set. He was donated to us he was 8 weeks old, I believe, and we just brought him to school. No one at the time was really training facility dogs because of the liability pieces. He has to be exposed to so many people with so many different needs. We have children who sometimes they can't regulate their own emotions, so they scream. Sometimes they can be aggressive. We have kids in wheelchairs. We have kids who have trachs. We have kids who have feeding tubes. We have kids who walk with walkers and crutches, and 12-year-olds who still wear diapers, and all the gamut of things that he would have to be exposed to, he was exposed to as a puppy, and he just thought that was normal. That was just
kind of went with the flow.
Life. He has, people always remark about how calm and settled he is. I'm a classroom teacher, and this is what he does in my room all day, except for at breakfast and lunchtime, and then, you know, he's got to vacuum the floor for everybody. He's just a big, lovable blob most of the time. Our speech therapists love him because he's a great communication tool, because the kids are always fascinated by him and they want to talk about him. So we can teach concepts, big and little. We can teach colors. We can teach how our behavior therapists love him because we can teach some empathy through with dogs. We can teach similarities and differences. We have some kids who, again, have some behavior difficulties. He sort of has a sense about that. And if they start to get a little bit agitated, he'll walk over by him and he'll just kind of give them a little lean, you know? And they'll sometimes sort of reach down and pet him. There's been a lot of research that tells us that pets, animals just in general, help kind of lower anxiety and blood pressure and things like that. We definitely see that with him. The occupational therapists, they deal with fine motor skills and also sensory issues. They love him because he's such a great, obviously he loves to be
tactile,
the tactile defensive-ness. He kind of helps some of that go away. We've also used him as we have a little guy with CP who we've had since, cerebral palsy, who we've had since the beginning. He started with us in our original classroom, and he's big now. He has a hard time straightening out and stretching out, so I'll have Dublin lay on his, we put a beanbag on his legs and I'll have Dub lay on the beanbag, and it's just a fun way to interact with the dog. He loves it. Physical therapists will use him. We have some kids who are learning how to walk and they use walkers. Well, that's really hard work for some of those guys, so they'll bring Dublin out on a leash and Dublin will walk with them, or they'll throw a stick. Sometimes it can be a diversionary tactic. You know, they just think they're going out to take the dog for a walk, but they're really exercising and working
and learning.
It's kind of like a Jedi mind trick, you know, in one big black furry body.
Well,
so
wonderful.
he's great. We love the staff. Then the other piece is the staff that we work with. You know, we have kind of a high stress job with what we do, and everybody loves old Rub-a-Dub. He's he's a good kind of neutralizer.
Well, he's a great tool, I know, and I know those kids love him.
They do.
And you guys have such a wonderful program, and appreciate you guys coming in to talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Our Children's Academy is a public charter school that is different from other public schools serving special needs children, with emphasis on children with communication deficits, emotional and behavioral challenges, and physical disabilities. Our Children's Academy uses a unique model that combines an individualized educational program with medical and behavioral programs to meet both the educational and therapeutic needs of the child. Teachers, paraeducators, behavior specialists, and therapists work together as a team. With the growing population in East Polk County, our Children's Academy looks to excel at special education for children in pre-K through the 9th grade. Our Children's Academy is looking to grow into a new facility and expand enrollment for children in grades pre-K through 9th grade for the 2015-16 school year, with 10th through 12th grades to follow over the 2016 to 2017 and 2017 and 2018 and the 2018-2019 school years. For more information, give them a call at 863-679-3338 or look them up on the web at www.ourchildrensacademy.org.